Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. This is the 8th episode in the story, in which Naruto discovers that not everything in life is black and white. Especially when you discover you are a demigod. Naruto did something unexpected and startling. At times semi-dark, with a hint of the wild side. Please hit the subscribe and like buttons. Let's get this party started. That evening all the genin and jounin besides Kurenai had returned to the field along with the gods and the Hokages. Chance walked over and spoke with all the gods and nods, and she stepped forward and said, "Now, catching everyone's attention, I am sure that you're all wondering why the gods and goddess have taken such an interest in you. It's true that Naruto is a big part of it, but only because if it wasn't for him then we might not have paid attention to what was going on here, since the affairs of mortals doesn't usually cause us to take action. This time, it's different." The Sandaime asked, "How is this different, and are you drunk, Tsunade?" Tsunade said, "Sensei, leave me alone. I got to drink ambrosia, the drink of the gods, but me and my big mouth made a promise, and now I am forbidden from ever taking another sip of alcohol again forever, so please let me enjoy my buzz before it disappears." "Go ahead, Mom, I think the others need to hear what you told me," Chance said. "Now, to answer why this is different, first, Naruto's strength and skills he earned. He's spent thousands of hours training. We may have given him advice just like we have been giving you, but that is all we really did for him, so don't think because he's a demigod that makes him more special to us than you. If that was the case we would never have introduced ourselves to you today and let you all die with what is coming." Shikamaru said, "What do you mean what is coming?" "Though you didn't know the future," Chance said. "True, we don't know the future, but we can see what is going on anywhere in the world without being caught, and we learned that Konoha is going to be attacked soon." Catching everyone's attention, the Sandaime eyes widened and said, "Explain." While the others looked curious, Chance said, "Konoha will be attacked by the Hidden Sound village along with their secret ally, the Hidden Sand, during the Chunin exams. That is the first threat that you all need to worry about. Orochimaru is the leader of the Hidden Sound village, and he plans to try and give Sasuke the cursed seal because he has created a jutsu that is a crime to us and has found a way to become immortal by switching bodies every 3 years. He wants to steal Sasuke's body for his bloodline while destroying Konoha." Everyone's was pale as they heard this, and Kushina said, "That's not the only problem though. There is a group called Akatsuki. Their goal is to collect the Baijiu and use them for their evil purpose. That normally wouldn't bother us, but mortals becoming immortal is something we gods don't take kindly to. In this group there are 3 who in one way or another have discovered a way to cheat death. One is Kakazu of Waterfall. He fought the Shadaime Hokage and is able to stay alive by taking the organs of other people to replace his old or destroyed ones. He usually has 5 hearts he's taken from people. Next is Hidan of Hot Springs. He is in fact a demigod. His bloodline makes it where as long as he gives a blood sacrifice to his father through a ritual that he lives one day. Every day since his bloodline activated since he was 14 he has killed a person or killed 2 people in order to skip 1 day, or killed 3 people to skip 2 days of killing. As you can guess, this guy is going to be hard to defeat. To kill him you must destroy his body completely where nothing of him remains, or remove his head and destroy his body and make sure that his head is secured somewhere that time can pass, and after the number of days pass the number of kills he made he will finally die." Naruto said, "Mom, if he's a demigod like me then why are you telling us how to kill him? Isn't he your nephew?" Kushina looked at Naruto and said, "Son, I'm going to tell you the best advice you will ever hear. We gods may seem to be more powerful than mortals because we are. We may seem to be wiser than mortals because we are, since we have lived so long, but we are still just as petty as mortals at times as also. We fight, we have wars, we plan, devise, plot, and try to either kill or punish other gods just like mortals. Some of us have morals, others don't. Take Zeus over there, he's married to a goddess and he's had thousands of children over the years with other women besides his wife. His wife has destroyed thousands of towns to get revenge against him, plotting to kill his children, make him look like a fool, even tricking his children or lovers into trying to kill him over the years for his infidelity. Being a god or goddess does not make you noble. Hell, the only true people who can be called noble are those who's willing to sacrifice everything including their life to save a perfect stranger. Your team on your last mission could be considered noble after you continue your mission after you learned the client lied and could have quit then. Nobility is a goal to work toward, not something you are blessed with by being born in a certain family, or come from a Circean village. It's not who you are that makes you noble, it's what you do that defines who you are meant to be. You want it to remain a secret that you are a demigod because you know there is no difference between you or anyone else here." Naruto frowned and said, I always thought that by being a god or goddess that made you holy, I guess." Kushina smiled sadly at Naruto and said, "Son, Remember when we told you that if you became a god of whirlpools that you may someday have to create a tornado in Suna that destroys a village to pull water inland so that it could rain in fire country to put out a forest fire, or that you would have to create a whirlpool that would sink a ship to allow fish to create a home out of the ship so that thousands of others would not starve from no fish being in the area. We are each given a purpose. Sometimes to some it seems like we are holy and other times it seems we are evil. As the goddess of death I have to take the souls of the dead to the other side. I've taken old men and women whose body have aged to the point they are in constant pain and that death is like relief to them, and I have taken infant children who had their entire life ahead of them. To some I seem like a goddess and others I seem like a demon. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, son? Naruto sighed and said, I think so. It just seems, I don't know, couldn't grandma make life peaceful or where everyone loves everyone or something? Kushina said she could, son, but then by doing so she would have taken the greatest gift she gave all life away, the gift of choice. If every day was exactly the same, peace and peace and peace, would you truly be happy, content? The answer is no, son. Life is about experiences, change, choice. If everyone wins and no one loses, what's the point in playing? It would be meaningless. I know life is hard and painful, but this pain is what defines us and makes us into who and what we are. That's a lesson each of you should remember. As she looked at the others, Chance said, don't let her beauty or intelligence fool you. She's a hellcat both in the sack and in a fight. Kushina blushed and screamed Chance. As she looked away from Naruto, Ino began to giggle and then burst out laughing and said, Naruto, look, you're still the same person you were in my eyes. It don't matter whose blood flows through you or who your parents are or what bloodline you got. You are Naruto. Choji is Choji, Shikamaru is Shikamaru and Kiba is still a mutt. Kiba said, hey, don't talk like that to me, but she's right. You may have awesome parents and a kick-ass bloodline, but I'm still top dog and you're the Dobi. Naruto looked around and saw the others nodding until he looked at Sasuke, who said, Dobi, I only have one thing to say, I'm not stopping my wife from kicking your ass, no matter what. Naruto smiled and said, thanks everyone. I didn't know about any of this until the night we graduated. Since then it's been one thing after another, but I have a question, why are you all here? Something doesn't seem right to me. As he looked at the gods and goddess, Chance said, well, there's a couple things we haven't had an opening to say yet. There's one other who has found a way to cheat death that you are all needing to know about. He is most likely the most dangerous compared to Orochimaru, Hidan, and Kakazu. Sasuke said who? Kushina said Madara Uchiha. At this everyone paled and the Sandaime quickly said that's not possible. Madara Uchiha died fighting Hashirama Senju at the Valley of the End. Kushina asked, was his body ever found? No. The reason is because he unlocked a special ability that allows him to use his Sharingan to turn his body into a spirit and then change back. While each of you could hurt him if you were able to get strong enough and catch him off guard so he could be weakened, the only one here who could actually kill him is Naruto, because even if Madara turns into a spirit, Naruto can see him. Also his sword can hurt him as a spirit because it has his chakra and blood in it now. Naruto said, so you're basically telling me that I've got to face all these guys who have found a way to cheat death? Apollo said, no. What we're saying is you and our descendants are getting hired to do a task for us. Loki said, it's going to be fun for you all. Zeus said, a long time ago in my prime we had a clash of the titans, now you mortals are going to have your own clash. You've got to protect your village, face some immortals, and deal with some demons. Nothing that should be too difficult for you lot. All the mortals were looking freaked out hearing this. Sarutobi said, I won't let you come in here and force my people to do your work. All the gods laughed and Chance said, that's brave of you to say, toddler, but the thing is, it's not us you are having to worry about, we are actually here to help you prepare, not send the dangers at you. You mortals have dug your own grave. You failed to kill your student Orochimaru when you discovered him in his lab, and because of that now you and your entire village is in danger of him. Your village has been taking all the missions of Suna and your other allies and not giving them any. Madara Uchiha wants revenge on Konoha and the Uchiha clan for siding with Hashirama instead of him. All these things were done by mortals, we had little to no involvement in any of the affairs. We said that Kami's greatest gift to all living things was the gift of choice. It was mortal choices that brought the events that are coming into fruition, not ours, but it is our choice to wish to protect our descendants some, which is why every night between now and the beginning of the Chunin exams, you souls will be brought to the other side to train with us while we strengthen the blood in each of you so that in the end, each of you will be basically a demigod just like Naruto. After that most of us you won't see again until you die. I'll be popping by to see Naruto and Tsunade, and on Naruto's birthday his mother will come by and see him, but other than that, I don't think any of us will be back. I think, you can never be sure. But, we won't force you into it. The choice is yours. We have each told you things to help you see we could help you get stronger. The choice you each must face is, do you want our help to make you stronger? Either way, the dangers we expect to be coming will still come. The question is, how prepared are you going to be for it? Everyone was stunned hearing this, and Sarutobi frowned and said, it seems that our mistakes will always come back to destroy us. Very well, I accept. Chance said, what about the rest of you? One by one everyone agreed, and Chance said, well then, good luck and live your life normally. We will only see you when you sleep. As her and the others gods and goddess left except Kushina. Naruto asked Mom, I thought I was going to transform or something. Didn't you all say something like that? Kushina said, I did. Channel chakra to your eyes while holding your sword. Naruto did as he was told, and as he did he winced and leaned forward as bones for 2 wings formed and a few white feathers and a few black feathers appeared, and Kushina said, look at your back, son. See those wings? Those feathers represent if you are becoming a god or a demon. If you notice, you have about 20 feathers that are white and 7 that were black. Those 7 represent 7 things that Kami judged you have done evil in your life. Those 20 represents 20 things Kami thought of as noble, so you are closer to becoming a god than a demon. But you have to be careful. The more noble or evil things you do, the more feathers you'll get, which will make it easier for you to someday fly easier. When you activate your eyes to see a person's soul, then your wings will come out. Naruto asked, are you saying I can fly now? Kushina said, if you tried real hard you might be able to get 5 feet in the air, or increase your speed slightly, but it is extremely difficult and extremely painful because like a tooth that needs pulling, your wings are extremely sensitive right now. As they get more feathers to protect them, it will get easier and hurt less. Naruto asked, how do I move them? Kushina sighed and said, send chakra into them. As you do, you will feel life flow into them, and using chakra and chakra control you will be able to learn to move them. It should help you in learning better control, but with your reserves in control it will take lots of hard work and time. But for now, you still have 6,291 more cuts to go. As a evil smirk appeared on his face, Naruto paled, quickly jumping back, and as he did winced as he felt the wings react to the wind of moving and went to block where he was cut across the arm. Sarutobi looked around and said, Asuma, I think you should go and start training your team. No missions today, and everything that has been said, seen, or heard today is to be kept a secret. Teammate, your sensei has gone away on a trip for a little while, and until she returns I will take over as your sensei. Tsunade, I suggest getting to the Hokage tower before the paperwork gets higher. Tsunade paled and said, brat, I'll get you later. As she left quickly, Kakashi said, well team, seeing as Naruto, ow, that's got to hurt, seeing as Naruto training, let's have you both spar against me. That night, after spending a few hours talking with his mother, getting to know her, not this Hinigami, but her as a person, as well as hearing stories about his father, eating dinner, showering, and at the stroke of midnight his mother leaving the world again, Naruto crawled into bed mentally and physically exhausted. As he fell asleep he found himself in his mindscape that now looked like wave, and he saw his mother appear and she said, hello son, ready for training? Naruto groaned and said, you're going to cut me up some more. Kushina said, no, not today. You see, it's not just you who is changing, Desire is also changing. The more white feathers the more majestic she will become. The more black feathers you get, the more evil she will become. What I am going to do is spend one night a week working on a different field, either chakra control, kenjutsu, genjutsu, strategy, taijutsu, and soul attacks. Naruto blinked and said, soul attacks. Kushina said, yes, it's not commonly known, but ki or killing intent is not actually what you think it is. Ki is actually a very crude soul attack used to crush or suppress your enemy spirit. Soul attacks can be used to increase a person's desire to continue on or a person will to give up. Your father used his soul attack to make others believe in him, to inspire the troops on the battlefield while making his enemies weaken at his presence. It wasn't just the Hiraishin that made your father feared and why he was sent assassins after you. It was his ability to cause inspiration and doubt in his allies and enemies. If you doubt yourself you have already lost the battle. Naruto thought a moment and nods and asked, so what about the 7th day? You only mentioned 6 things. Kushina said, the 7th is a day of rest. While I want to protect you, I don't want to take over your life completely. Naruto bit his lip and said, Mom, I want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the way I acted earlier. It's just, everything has been going on and it's been so hard to adjust. And Kushina wrapped him in a hug and said, I know son, if only I could have been there. I could have explained all this to you earlier in life and let you had time to adjust. The world is built on what ifs and could haves, but they both end always with what did happen. What is happening, and right now, you need to get stronger, not only for you, but all of your loved ones. Naruto smiled and said, you're right Mom. Let's start. Across the village the members of the Rookie 9 and their sensei, minus Kurenai, Tsunade, and the Sun Daime, were all beginning their training. The next day the council of Konoha had been summoned by Tsunade, and as clan head Naruto was summoned as well. As Tsunade took her seat, she said, "Thank you all for coming, and I know many of you are wondering why I have called this meeting. I believe this one will be more productive than our last one." As she glared at Naruto, as a few people chuckled under their breath. Tsunade said, "Anyways, the reason I called is with the Chunin exams only 6 weeks away, I felt a few changes were needed to show Konoha strength to all our VIP. I have called you all here to discuss a few of these ideas and get your opinions on them so they may be implemented as easily as possible." Sarutobi asked, "What are these ideas?" Tsunade said, "The first order is I want all Konoha ninja to appear in top condition for our VIPs. In order to do this, I am ordering each ninja to be able to complete an obstacle course and a physical exercise test based on their rank. Any ninja who fails their test will have 2 weeks to get in shape for their rank or be put on advisement. If after 4 weeks they still have not gotten up to the standard ability to pass these tests, then they will be demoted." Murmurs went through the crowd, and Hiyashi said, "What if a person obtained their rank due to unique skills?" Tsunade said, "Each ninja will be judged by the person I am going to ask to oversee these tests, which is Sensei. He knows our personnel better than I do, and if the person cannot pass the test he will know why, and if it is because they have let their skills and body go, then they need to get in shape. This will not only make our ninja more efficient but will make it where any VIP that see them will be impressed by our village strength and will help remove the doubt that Konoha has become weakened in all these years of peace that I have heard spoken about in my years of travel." Hiyashi said, "I see." Tsunade said, "Does anyone else have any question about the test?" Naruto said, "Yes, I do. Will these tests become a mandatory thing every year, and if so, will they be used on Genin and Academy students?" Tsunade blinked and said, "Genin are considered ninja just as Chunin and Jounin, so yes, they will be in this test. But why do you ask about Academy students?" Naruto said, "Because they are the future of our village. Any VIP who comes by will walk right by the Academy and can see the students training, and if they appear to be stronger than average children playing, it would make it appear that ninja from our village are above the standards of other villages." Shibi said, "That's a very interesting point. Any suggestion on what the test should be?" Naruto thought a moment and said, "Maybe teach the tree climbing exercise to the senior class and have it where they have to reach the top and back to the bottom a set number of times. Civilians seeing children running up trees without hands when they can't would not only impress them but would also inspire children from non-clan families to enter the academy. It's a dirty PR move, but it would increase the number of possible academy students by at least 10% or more after the first year. It would also increase the skills of the future Genin, since the sensei will have more time to train them in combat and strategy instead of chakra control." Homaru said, "That is a very good idea. What do you think, Tsunade?" Tsunade was quite a moment and said, "I agree. I would also like to arrange for a medic to come and teach each senior class basic and field first aid. I once stated that I wanted to have a medic on every team and was told that it was not possible at the time because we were at war. Well, we're at war now, so I would like to start the groundwork in moving that direction. I want every ninja, Genin to Kage to know basic and field first aid at least. Clans are not exempt from this. Having you clan members knowing these skills will help protect them and your clan's future, so any clan member who doesn't get these skills will not be sent on missions for this village. I rather have a pissed off living clan than a bunch of dead bodies that could have been saved." Tsume said, "I agree with Tsunade. Knowing basic and field first aid would only take 2 weeks to learn, and would not only help our clan members become stronger by knowing not only how to heal but also areas that will do more damage in a fight." Naruto said, "Tsunade, from what I have heard and seen, I believe that all of the rookie Genin will be put in this Chunin exams either to gain experience for them here at our home or in hopes of passing. Of those 9 Genin, 8 are clan heirs or heiress. There's a chance that another village will either try to acquire those bloodlines or eliminate them to weaken the future of our village. We should plan ahead for that possibility to not only prepare for spies in the exams but also people trying to compromise the exams. I don't know much about the exams, but I believe that I heard the exams when it is here is always basically the same. If that is true, then by knowing what our past exams were, other villages could use that to their advantage to strengthen their village or weaken ours." Murmurs began to go through the room, and Koharu said, "That is a very good point that has not been addressed before." Sarutobi said, "Indeed it is, which is why I think we should change the exams, but for security reasons we will have to discuss that at another time since you yourself will be in the exams, Naruto." Naruto said, "Yeah, I have no problem in that, and if no one has any objections in case it comes to a vote, I will vote ahead of time for changing the exam in whichever way changes it the most from our current posture while protecting those in the exams as well as our village is the one I would vote for because predictability is a weakness for ninja." Tsunade said, "Agreed. Now you pointed out predictability is a weakness for ninja, and from a certain point of view I agree. For that reason I want our village patrol patterns to be changed, and I ask each of the clans to look for a weakness in our village security that could be exploited, so we may come up with ways to reduce these weaknesses. Since the Sun Daime was injured in his office and I haven't seen combat in a while, other villages may doubt my ability to lead and protect this village properly and would use these exams as a chance to plan for future missions against our village. Inoiki said, I agree with you, Hokage-sama. If it would not be an issue, I think you should ask Naruto to take an active role in that area. After all, he has on several occasions exploited such weakness by not only painting the Hokage monument in broad daylight wearing orange without getting caught until he was done, but also several other incidents such as that. Naruto chuckled slightly and said, the biggest hole in our village security is actually the village security itself. At this several people blinked and Shikaku said, come again. I'm sure I didn't understand what you said correctly. Naruto said, no, you probably heard me right. The village security itself is the biggest hole our village has. I don't even have to check to be able to guess where most of our village is right now. It's Thursday. Every Thursday Anko, Uegao, Kurenai, and Hana go to the hot springs to relax and meet each other. As such, one team of Anbu will be going around with a betting pool on how many perverts will wind up in the hospital today. 2 teams will be stationed around the hot springs to get the perverts to the hospital so they don't die after the ladies get done beating them down. 1 team will be at the bar on Waikashi Street relaying the information they received from the 2 teams at the hot springs to the team running the betting pool, along with updating the scoreboard on the side bets of who does the most damage to the pervert. That's 6 of the 8 teams that are on duty in the village all busy today. The other 2 teams are divided into 3 locations. One is the Hokage vault where 2 members will be stationed, another 2 at the front gate in case any prisoners come in so they can be taken either to the hospital or T&I. The other team is divided into 2 members each with 2 standing guard outside the Hokage office when she is not there, and the rest of the time waiting in the Jounin lounge playing cards or watching TV. The other 2 are stationed outside this very room while meetings are going on or when no one is here. So all an enemy has to do is wait until a Thursday and enter the village any way they want besides the front gate, because there are no active security members on patrol in the village. Homaru asked, and how do you know this? Naruto said, all my big pranks were always performed on Thursday. The rest of the week I just gathered my supplies and planned my escape routes. Haven't any of you ever noticed that? Just then Shizune entered the room and said, forgive me for interrupting Tsunade-sama, but there's been an incident at the hot springs. It appears Hana and Anko found a couple of perverts including Jiraiya-sama at the hot springs peeking on them, and they attacked the perverts. Unfortunately all 3 need medical attention. I wouldn't have contacted you about this, but you wanted to know immediately when Jiraiya-sama was found. Tsunade clenched her fist as several members paled, and she said sweetly, thank you Shizune. Please tell the hospital staff to keep the victims detained at the hospital until I arrive so I may get their statements. Shizune said yes, of course Hokage-sama. As she glanced at Naruto and left. Naruto put his hands behind his head and said, I rest my case. With a smirk on his face. Hiyashi asked, how were you able to obtain the information on what the patrols were for today? Naruto looked at Hiyashi and said, are you seriously asking me that question? In the last 10 years the only times I have seen the village security patrol pattern change was the day after the Uchiha massacre, when we were forced to come up with a new pattern because of the loss of the Uchiha police force, and on Thursdays when those 4 go to the hot springs. Other than that day, the patrol every other day of the week is exactly the same. The teams may be different but the pattern is still the same. Anyone who actually took the time to look would have realized this after 3 days of investigation. Hell, it surprises me that this weakness hasn't been exploited by someone else besides me truthfully, or it may have and nobody realizes it. The sad fact though is that the village isn't the only ones who's fallen into this routine. What time is it? The Sun Daime said 8:35 a.m. Why? Naruto thought a moment and said, at the Hyuga compound you have a man on the east wall looking in the direction of your clan, another guard is taking out the trash from the kitchen, 2 at the front gate and 1 on the south wall looking toward the Hokage monument. To get in your clan compound all you would have to do is come in over the southeast wall and exit the same wall, between 7:30 a.m. and 8:45 a.m. In that time frame you could do anything from kidnap a member of your clan to plant explosive tags on the outside wall or release a poison gas in the compound. Hiyashi was wide-eyed and said, absurd. Naruto said, sunrise. The sun rises over the walls protecting our village at 7:26 a.m. From that point until 8:48 a.m. any Hyuga who is looking in that direction, with or without their bloodline, will be looking directly into the sun and either will start seeing spots or be blinded from the sunlight, creating an opening that anyone with average stealth skills could exploit. Your bloodline maybe has its strengths but it also has its weaknesses that can be exploited. Don't feel bad, you're not the only clan that has a weakness that could be easily exploited. The Aburame clan could be attacked or destroyed easily by someone placing exploding tags and poison gas bombs on their walls during a storm. Not only would the rain weaken their bugs, but also weaken them with the poison, making them easy targets. Shibi nods his head and said, a valid weakness my clan has been working on eliminating but have not come up with a valid counter. Naruto said, simple, taijutsu of kenjutsu. Your clan is known for its long-range attacks. Find or develop either a taijutsu or kenjutsu style that will allow you to get up close and personal. Strengthen yourself by playing your weakness instead of your strengths. That's something I think every ninja should learn. The Hyuga could branch off in either genjutsu, medical jutsu, or ninjutsu, since everyone knows that the Hyuga don't allow learning anything outside of clan-related jutsu, which are mostly close-range attacks. Hiyashi said, what brings you to this conclusion that our clan teachings are not enough? As his lip twitched. Naruto said, alright, let's say you're facing 4 enemies whose only skill is throwing kunais. Let's say all 4 surround you in trees while you're on the ground and all 4 throw a kunai at you at the same time. What would you do? Hiyashi said, I would use my clan's ultimate defense to deflect their weapons and then attack. Naruto nods and asked, I'm afraid I don't know your clan's ultimate defense. What exactly is it, if I may ask? Sume said, it's basically a big ball of chakra that surrounds them completely while they spin. Hiyashi glared and Naruto snorts and burst out laughing and said in gasping breaths, that's your clan's ultimate defense. Damn, that's easy to get by. Hiyashi became red-faced and said, then enlighten us on how you would defeat it. Naruto said, well, there are 4 ways I can see to defeat it. The first is just have the guys in the trees to start throwing the weapons one right after another after the first throw, so once you're in this ultimate attack, if you stop you get nailed by a kunai, and make sure the kunais are laced with a poison that either kills or a poison chakra if you're wanting to capture you alive. Sooner or later you will realize that you will have to take a chance and stop your attack getting nicked and poisoned or run out of chakra and die. That's the simple way I would defeat you if I had 3 others to help me. If it was just me, I would use a couple of clones, a couple of poison smoke bombs that I was immune to, and just force you into tracking me down among my clones while becoming weaker due to the poison. I also could use sleeping gas instead of poison. Maybe paint thinner and a water balloon. The vapors from that shit can screw with your head, and pelting you with a couple of water balloons full of it or covering the area you fight with that shit would make watching you become high on it a hilarious sight, or make you easier to get in close and take out. Silence filled the room as Hiyashi had turned from red to pale as he realized any of those situations could defeat him and his clan, and Naruto said, oh well, not my problem, but I do think I'll mention that to Sasuke and Hinata so they could prepare to counter those kind of situations. As he looked thoughtful, Shikaku said, what about our clans? Naruto looked at him and said, I haven't ever really had a reason to plan anything against your clan, so I don't really know much about your clans besides what I saw your kids do. If you have the same weakness as they do, then I would say you should swallow your pride and have not only your kids but yourselves ask Honko to evaluate you and your clans and work out a training program for you. I know from the mission I had with her and Ino that Honko basically took apart Ino clan style and rebuilt it, where Ino probably one of the top 10 poison experts in the village thanks to her knowledge of plants and Honko instructions on how to use that knowledge to create poisons and cures. She also taught Ino the basics on how to use that knowledge to its fullest potential by changing her taijutsu into one that would allow her to poison and subdue an enemy herself instead of having to rely on Choji to beat an enemy down or Shikamaru to capture an enemy for her. It's not finished, but she's at least going in the right direction, I believe. If you have the same weakness as your kids, then you rely on teamwork too much and let your individual skills weaken. If that's the case, all an enemy would have to do is target each of you individually at the same time to make it where you are unable to work as a team. The Inuzuka clan has the same weakness. They train so much to work with their companions. If an enemy came up with a way to separate them, then they would be at half their normal strength. I guess the best way to say it is divide and conquer. Tsume said, what about you? What do you think is your weakness? At this everyone seemed to perk up and listen closely, and Naruto said truthfully, experience. A civilian screamed, what kind of bullshit answer is that? The Sandaime said, a wise one actually. Silencing the murmurs that had began to spread in the room. Naruto said, thanks Gigi, but truthfully I think that is my greatest weakness right now. Everything else I can think of is already being worked on to improve. Tsunade said, well, that is something that can be discussed another time. While I wasn't planning on pointing out weakness in different clans, I think the clan head should at least think about them to see if you agree with what was stated so you can look stronger and improve your clan's image. Now on to the matter of those patrols. Sensei, do you agree with Naruto's statement? The Sandaime thought a moment and said, I do not recall ever seeing a change in the patrol patterns mentioned in all the paperwork that I did, so I am forced to agree. Tsunade said, I see. I am going to investigate those who have duty today and find out why they have not been doing their duty. They will be punished accordingly. Shikaku, Naruto, I want both of you to meet with Aviki and come up with at least 4 patrol patterns for our village security by the end of the week. Sensei, once I have those patrol patterns, you and I will go over them and see if there are any changes we want to make a change to them. Do you 3 understand? All 3 nodded and a civilian said, why are you letting him help with this? He is but a genin, Tsunade said. Damn it. This is revenge, isn't it? As she looked up at the sky before she said, listen up all of you. From what I have seen so far, Konoha really has become weakened over the years if someone is stupid enough to ask that question. From what I have heard from several sources, Naruto here as an academy student, has exploited weakness in our security that were ignored. He's outran Chunin, Jounin, and Anbu for hours, and apparently knows more about what's going on in this village than everyone else in this room, since it was Naruto who discovered the proof that Danzo was involved in the Uchiha massacre. It was Naruto who discovered a kidnapping plot against a high-profile citizen of the village. It was Naruto who has basically given us a brand new trade agreement with the Land of Wave, and it was Naruto who basically arranged a meeting with the god Mizukage, who is coming to Konoha to discuss a trade alliance. In fact, as much as I hate to admit it, but it appears that Naruto has done more since becoming a genin than every other person in this room has this entire year. In fact, he is partially responsible for me being here. Now the reason I have him helping design the patrol pattern is because he is the one who has exploited the old one and brought the issue to light. As much as anyone wanted to deny it, what they just heard was all true, and everyone reluctantly agreed except Naruto, who said, not that I don't mind helping the village get better protected, and I'm honored to have your vote of confidence in me to be of use in coming up with a new patrol pattern, but if I may ask, do I have to actually be there physically, or can I just send a Kagebunshin, since I want to prepare myself and work with my teammates to prepare for the upcoming exams as well as any missions we are assigned? Tsunade said, a Kagebunshin will be fine if it won't hurt your training or distract you too much. Naruto looked at her and said, you're joking, right? Does anyone know how many Kagebunshin I can make? The Sandaime said, I believe I heard over 100. Naruto said, when I was in Wave I worked with nearly 1,000 every day, working either on jutsu helping me master the ones I know or chakra control. The Sandaime asked, that reminds me, how is your Makuten coming along? Naruto scrunched his nose and said, well, that's something I'm actually confused about. I can make Makuten Bunshin no jutsu fairly easy since it takes about 1/4 my total chakra. I can also do simple growth, which makes things grow at an accelerated rate, and I can make a wall of wood for defense, but I've noticed that plants seem to react strangely to me. They seem to be able to either read my thoughts or know what I am wanting and do it, Tsunade said. Explain. Naruto thought a moment and said, well, when I fought Zabuza and his apprentice I was channeling chakra into my feet on a tree and thought block, and a wall came up and protected me from the attack. I then thought capture and the tree actually trapped the one I was fighting. Then later when I was severely wounded, the plants seemed to try and wrap around my wounds to stop the bleeding long enough for my bloodline to heal me. Another time was when I got angry at you yesterday and wanted to punch your face in, and well, Tsunade said, so those 2 wooden fists weren't actually being controlled by you? Naruto said, not exactly, at least I don't think I was. I mean, I could do that same thing and I think I used hand signs, but I didn't actually have to guide the strikes. It was like the plants saw my target and used my jutsu to attack my target. I plan to get some more practice with it when I can, but it's harder than you think. My summons told me all they could to get me started, but... Tsume asked, summons, you have a summoning contract? Naruto frowned and said, 2 actually, and I rather keep them on a need-to-know basis for now. Tsunade said, I am aware of what they are and for now I agree. Both are a surprise that could be valuable to Konoha later. I can tell you this though. One of his summons helped the Shodaime build the forest around Konoha, and the other, well, from what I have seen and been told, it's stronger than all 3 of the Sanin's summons. Everyone was wide-eyed at this, and Homaru asked, how is that possible? How did you come across that contract and what is it? That is something we need to know. Naruto rubbed his head and said, all I can say is there are 8 different tribes of the contract I have. I have the second strongest of the tribes, and while the weakest of the tribes is known about, mine has never had a summoner before. As for how I got it, I was approached by the head of all the tribes who gave me a test that I had to pass, and I did, but only because of my Kamishi bloodline. Anyone else would most likely have died taking the test due to the risk of death. As such, it will probably become a clan summoning contract. Murmurs broke out and Tsunade said, enough, we did not come here to keep discussing Naruto abilities. I have other matters far more important to deal with besides that. Koharu said, what else is there to discuss? You have already stated that we are going to have to do tests to prove we have kept our skills up for our rank, as well plans to change the village security to make the village more secure. We have also discussed the idea of changing the Chunin exams a little. What else do you have planned? Tsunade put her fingers together and said simple, I do not like being questioned by civilians on ninja matters. The civilian council has not now or ever had the right to mess with the village security. As such I see that the council has let their mouths write checks their asses can't cash. As such from this day forward the civilian council will meet with Koharu, Homaru, and Sarutabai-sensei who will meet with me to discuss any issues that the civilians deem important. In matters of village security they will no longer be present and I will no longer have a reason to meet with them face to face. A civilian said you can't do that. The council runs the village while the Hokage is the figurehead. Tsunade got a smile on her face and said in a sweet voice really, and what makes you believe that? The civilian said because when we had issues we would vote and give our verdicts to the elders who would see to it that the issues were passed. Sarutobi looked at Koharu and Homaru who had began to sweat under his look and said and how many of you agree with the Kido statement? All of the civilian members raised their hands and Tsunade said Anbu. A team of Anbu appeared and Tsunade said each of the civilian members here have just admitted to treason against the Hokage. The civilian who spoke before screamed what? We did no such thing. Tsunade said the Hokage is the leader of this village, not a figurehead. The council is only an advisory committee. By going behind the Hokage back and doing things without the Hokage permission is treason. Now each of you will be taken to the torture and interrogation department to find out exactly what all you have been doing behind the Hokage back. Homaru and Koharu. I have been told that you both are already under punishment for suspicion of treason. When I get a report back from the DNA department you will look at it and anything you can think of that was done that was not confessed about you are to inform me immediately. If I do not agree with the things that were done then each civilian council member will be fined for the village resources that were used without the Hokage permission. If any of you is not completely honest about what you have done when questioned, and I find out from Homaru and Koharu that you are not, you will have all your assets including land, bank accounts, homes, and any other things of value seized by the village. You will be publicly exposed for your crimes to the public where you will be publicly whipped 100 times to be made an example of before you are banished from the village with seals that make it where you will be unable to speak about anything you know about Konoha and your chakra will be sealed off as well in case you had shinobi training. So the way I see it you can either be completely honest and be put under some minor punishment or have you and your entire family publicly shamed. Your choice. Anbu, get the civilians out of here and tell Ibiki and Anko to have fun. At this the civilians began to scream in fear and anger before Kagebunshin of Naruto appeared behind each of them knocking them out. Naruto said what? I got other places to go so I want to hurry up and get this meeting over with then listen to them bitch and whine like little kids who get told they can have something. Only reason I am here today is because Boobzilla over there sent 2 teams of Anbu to get me and I didn't feel like playing with them today. The clan heads chuckled and Tsume said it looks like you're going to be fun to have around pup. So since the Uchiha clan is working on restoring itself, have you given it any thought yet? Naruto smirked as he put his hands in front of his face and said are you asking for your daughter or yourself? I do have a little reputation as a MILF hunter. Tsume blushed and said I see you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? Naruto saw the last of the civilians were taken out and said well for your information I've already started to restore my clan but for the child and mother's protection I'm keeping the identity and location of her a secret for now. All I will tell you is the child was conceived outside of the village and is under the watchful eye of someone I can trust. Tsunade began to smile slightly until Naruto said what are you smiling about? You haven't earned my trust so any other clan members current or future I plan to add is something I won't inform you about until you prove to me you really are a Hokage. I may have called a truce since if we fought Konoha would be destroyed but that doesn't mean I still don't think you are nothing but a drunk old bitch whose only skills are on her knees or on her back after a night of drinking. If I didn't have others to worry about I honestly would put you on an auction block and sell your ass to the highest bidder. To say the clan heads were shocked and Tsunade closed her eyes and said look, I'm sorry Naruto. Naruto said I could answer that 2 ways and say you're right you're sorry, that you're a sorry piece of shit. I could also say no you're not sorry because you actually don't know what the hell I am truly upset with you about. Tsunade frowned and said it's because I put you through those trees and destroyed that scroll. Right. Naruto shook his head and said no, I can understand you could have thought I was a debt collector and the scroll was saying something about ordering you to pay a debt. I could also understand that you could have thought I was an enemy shinobi since I didn't try to hide my chakra that I am sure even in your drunk state you could have detected. It's not even the fact I could have died from the injuries that I truly hate you for. It's not entirely what you have done to Shizune either that I am angry about. Tsunade asked then what is it? Naruto looked her in the eyes and said you left me, you abandoned me, just like you abandoned Konoha. The reason I don't see you as nothing more than a big-breasted drunk old hag is because I honestly believe that when something you don't want to deal with comes up, You will abandon everyone again. That is why I hate you. I've been alone my entire life until a few months ago, having people telling me my family didn't want me, that they abandoned me, that I wasn't worthy of living, and then when I met you, you did just as the people of Konoha told me my family did. Imagine living my life, hated by most of the village where I have been beat, tortured, mutilated, starved, had my education sabotaged, been placed in genjutsu where I saw everyone who's ever been nice to me call me a monster, or see them dead on the ground and me covered in their blood while people call me a monster and a demon. Having people claim they are my parents and give me hope where they take me into their home and then tie me to a metal bed and use Raiten Jutsu on the bed to torture me for days while giving me dozens of shots every day with poisons from Konoha Hospital. Having my hand cut off so I could feel myself getting weaker and weaker by losing blood. Having sensei who I've been told that I am to listen to and trust make me commit crimes for them before trying to mentally destroy me and then kill me. You wanna know why I hate you? It's simple, I hate you because I thought that I could trust those that I consider family, but then when I meet my family, I'm nearly killed and then abandoned. You want my forgiveness, a chance for a family. Then prove it. Not say you do but show me that you won't abandon me again and that I can trust you, that I can trust anyone. If you can do that then maybe someday I'll see you as something, but for now, you're nothing to me but another example not to get too close to anyone. Tsunade asked so there's no one you trust. As she had her eyes closed. Naruto said there is only one mortal I trust that is nothing to gain and nothing to lose for me to trust, while showing me I can trust that person. Sarutobi asked and who is that? Naruto said ironically, Sakura Haruno. At this every person in the room was shocked or confused and Tsunade said Sakura, your teammate, why her? Why not the mother of your child or your friends or anyone else? Naruto said the answer to that is simple. When Sakura learned about my bloodlines, nothing changed between us. When she learned about my heritage, nothing changed between us. When she learned about the Kyuubi and then the truth about the Kyuubi defeat nothing changed between us. Yes she's attacked me in the past when I bugged her but those attacks were attacks I honestly deserved for invading her space, making advances to get more personal with her she didn't want. Her friendship I earned. Her respect I earned. None of her anger was influenced by those around us, she held no animosity toward me because of her parents, while some of the things she said to me at times hurt like my lack of skills or my clothing or my attitude, all those were honest opinions. Not hurtful remarks to make me feel smaller. Our respect and trust was mutual and honest and neither of us has an alternative motive like trying to strengthen their clan image, or gain popularity, or setting a trap to use me and throw me away, or use me for their own gains to get what they want. Even the mother of my child truthfully only wanted a child in the end and any relationship we have was just a bonus. As for my other relationships, well, I have to question, is it me, or what I represent that they are after? As he glanced at Inoiki. The Sandaime said so you don't trust me. Naruto looked at him and said I respect you, but you hid my parents, the Kyuubi, why I was hated, my godfather, my family name, and God knows what else from me, and don't say it was to protect me. Because we both know that's bullshit. The needs of the many over the needs of the few. If you revealed my parents or my name then Iwa would have attacked the village so that was taken from me for the village's sake. You told the entire village, but I had to hear from a traitor who tried to kill me about the Kyuubi and why I was hated. I respect you for protecting the village, but I can't trust you because you have proved that in the end I was more valuable as a weapon and deterrent, than as the grandchild relationship we seem to have. I have to question after everything that happened, was our bond nothing more than a way to control me? Where can there be trust on a relationship built on lies? Naruto turned away and said now that the lies have been pulled away and the truth revealed, I have no choice but to sit back and see where the future leads us, and ask the one question that I know will never be answered. What was so different about me as a person before the truth was revealed that you can accept me when you couldn't before? Now is that all? I got team training and missions. I have a feeling that damn cats lose again. Tsunade said yes, you may go. After swallowing hard. After Naruto got up and left Inoiki thought I see what Ino meant. Sarutobi pulled out his pipe and filled some tobacco in it and said that boy will either become our greatest hero, or our worst enemy. And thought the irony is not lost on me. He will either become a god amongst men, or a demon we created. After that day things around the village began to change. At first it was minor. News about the civilian council reached the ears of the village. Of course the fact that a guy was tied to the Hokage tower and given 100 lashes with a whip after Tsunade told the village the man had been found guilty of theft of Konoha property, being a traitor to the village who leaked information to an enemy to Konoha that resulted in the death of over 20 Konoha ninja, and was one of the people who helped assassinate the Uchiha clan. The village learned Tsunade wasn't the Sandaime, Of course, watching Sasuke give the rude agent the 100 lashes was justice. Of course, the family of one of the Konoha ninja who he helped to get killed received a scroll informing them of the fact he was responsible for their loved one's death, and the former civilian council member's body was found 2 miles from the village, brutally beaten to death since he was unable to use chakra to defend himself. After having the rest of the civilian council witness this, they were quick to spill their guts on everything they had done, several of which, even Koharu and Homaru knew nothing about. Seeing 6 respectable council members fighting over a cardboard box was interesting until it was set on fire by an academy student. Konoha Maru was even more interesting. The onward patrols that Thursday after Tsunade left the council meeting were each punished by the most degrading rank mission Tsunade could find, from septic tank cleaning to cleaning pig farms, to clean bedpans at the hospital, all without the use of chakra, and 1 week of training with Anko in the Forest of Death with their chakra sealed off after Anko was told about their betting pool. Yeah. Those teams failed their Anbu rank test the first time for being in the hospital and put on probation. Those tests turned out to be a blessing since it was mandatory. Aviki got 3 new playthings when 3 undercover spies were found, since all ninja had to have their records updated, and found 3 enemy ninja had replaced Konoha ninja at some point and had been using the Konoha ninja identity to spy on the village. A couple of ninja were demoted, but after seeing the public whipping the ninja learned Tsunade wasn't going to sit back and take it easy like the Sun Daime had. The changed village patrol routes turned out to be another shocker, as 11 spies were discovered in or around Konoha, some even going through the main gate disguised as merchants. So far the 14 spies have been divided up as such: 3 from Iwa, 2 from Sound, 1 from Kumo, 4 for the Fire Lord, and 4 root members who were continuing their mission even with Danzo death. The 3 Iwa nins were discovered to be planning to assassinate Naruto and were gathering information on him. The 2 from Sound turned out to be 2 civilians from Ricefield Country who were threatened with death of their child that was kidnapped by Sound Ninja, where they had to pass messages that they were to pick up at a location each time they came to Konoha, indicating a spy in the village. The 1 from Kumo was a missing nin and was the brother of the ninja Hiyashi killed the night of Hinata kidnapping and was plotting revenge. Finally, the 4 from the Fire Lord were assigned to spy on his wife due to his lack of faith in her loyalty to him, and were released with after sending a message that they wouldn't interfere in the Fire Lord's investigation as long as the spies checked with Tsunade when they entered or left the village, which was quickly agreed upon in exchange that the Fire Lord's wife didn't find out about the spies. The training of all Konoha ninja in basic and field first aid was a little rough at first, but was taken care of quickly after the general grumbling or ninja thinking they didn't need it, while Shizune herself was assigned at the academy to teach the lessons, and tree climbing was introduced to the Genins. Jiraiya, well, after Tsunade beat the living fuck out of him for peeping, she healed him and then beat him again for abandoning the mission she sent him on, healed him and then beat the hell out of him again for abandoning Naruto not only in Wave but his entire life. Jiraiya, upon failing the physical exam being in the hospital, was publicly demoted back to academy student and placed in Konohamaru class, where he was knocked out with the sexy no jutsu and then robbed of everything but his boxers and superglued to his seat with the word Dobi tattooed on his forehead. Anko made a special appearance to do the tattooing after being given a tip that Jiraiya was there and his involvement in peeping on her. She also was assisted by a blonde-hair girl with whiskers who helped organize the prank. Ino and Shizune both heard about what was said at the council meeting and both questioned Naruto about it. When Shizune asked Naruto, he said, "Shizune, I care for you, hell I probably love you. I don't know if what I feel for you is love, which is why I can't say more than I care for you and would die for you and to protect you, but what I questioned was trust. Not love. If you were faced with staying with me or leaving with Tsunade, taking our child with you, which choice would you choose?" Shizune bit her lip and looked down, and Naruto said, "Don't answer. I know if you ever have to face that situation, it will be the hardest one you'll ever have to make. Either way, a part of you will feel hurt and destroyed. The pain you feel just thinking about it, that's the same pain I feel, and I want to protect myself from it. That is why I can trust you. I don't want to lose you, but I don't want to be hurt again." Shizune sighed and said, I don't like it, but I understand, but I hope someday I do earn your trust." Naruto said, "And I hope someday things will work out where you will never have to face that situation and we can be a family together. But for now, I'll take what I can get and give all I got." When Naruto asked if the day came where I could not stay in Konoha and decided to leave, "Would you honestly be able to leave your friends, family, and home behind to come with me? You have a life here, people who care for you. When faced with it, I can't trust you to choose me over that life." Ino said, "I hate you. I hate that I can't answer that question. Am I really willing to give up everything for you? I don't know." Naruto pulled her into a hug and said, "Then can you accept that I can't trust you but I can still care for you?" Ino reluctantly agreed. As the exams got closer, those who were at the meeting with the gods began to act weird in the opinions of others by disappearing or working on things they refused to speak about, while the clans worked on working to defeat their weakness and trying to figure out what their children were up to. Kurenai returned after 3 weeks away and quickly caught up to training her team that the Sun Daime had taken over in her absence. Finally, the week of the Chunin exams arrived. Naruto was sweating and breathing hard as he stood over the bodies of Sasuke and Sakura, who both were on their backs panting heavy each. Sakura said, "Damn it, even after all our training combined we weren't able to beat you." Naruto, who had moved to hold his knees, said, "Maybe you didn't beat me, but you both pushed me to my limits. My chakra's so low I don't think I can safely use my bloodline to heal myself without dying. I'm having to force my body not to heal, which sucks by the way." As he fell back on his ass, Sasuke looked around the training ground and said, "I am so glad we don't have to pay to repair this place." Sakura said, "We would be flat-ass broke if we did." Naruto said, "Well, what do you think, Kakashi-sensei? How did we do?" Kakashi jumped down from the tree he was in and said, "Well, I would say for you, Naruto, I would say your weakest area is speed and taijutsu. You're faster than both your teammates, but anyone who is mid-chunin or higher could still get in your guard. If you were taijutsu-oriented instead of kenjutsu, I would drop the speed issue, but since you're kenjutsu-oriented, your strikes are not fast enough for me to feel you are as good as you should be. I think when Zabuza and the Mizukage arrive, you could talk to them and see if they would give you a suggestion, since the only real kenjutsu user is Hyde and his style wouldn't work for you. As for taijutsu, I still feel you rely on kenjutsu too much, and if someone were to get you away from your sword they would have the advantage." Naruto said, "Unless I use that." Kakashi said, "Unless you use that, but I still want you to work on your taijutsu some." Naruto nods and Kakashi turned to Sakura and said, "Sakura, your skills have improved greatly since you graduated. Your chakra reserves have improved to solid chunin and you have chakra control on par with Tsunade. Your stamina has increased to the point you lasted 4 hours of near constant fighting. That is something to be proud of. Your weakness are your taijutsu, speed, and predictability. Sasuke and Naruto are both primary combat fighters with you as support. When teamed with them your weakness is covered, but in a one-on-one fight you would be at a disadvantage because your strategies are too straightforward. You have 2 styles of taijutsu you can use. The academy and the one you learned from your family. However, your body has not adapted to either style since you haven't trained enough in either to flow with the style as you should be able to. Something that should have been fixed in the academy, but in Naruto words, they were more worried about making cookie-cutter soldiers, instead of ninjas, so it's not entirely your fault. Speed, while you are the slowest member on the team but your speed is solid chunin, but because of your lack of muscle memory on your taijutsu it reduces it a little." Sakura said, "Thank you, Kakashi-sensei. I'll do my best to improve those areas when I can." Kakashi said, "I know you will. That is one thing I am glad we discussed after Naruto had that council meeting. Targeting each of our weakness has improved all of our skills, not only you 3 but me as well." Sasuke said, "What about me?" Kakashi looked at Sasuke and said, "Sasuke, while you should be proud of your improvement, before I tell you where you stand I want you to hear me out. We know you have been targeted and you know what is at stake. If you meet him, escape. All 3 of you. You're good enough to take down me, but even I doubt I could defeat him. It's not just power he has over you, it's experience. Do you all 3 understand?" All 3 nod and Kakashi said, "Very well, Sasuke, your weakness are kenjutsu, genjutsu, and taijutsu. You're good. I won't deny that, but you rely on your Sharingan too much to deal with genjutsu and you lack the proper strength to defend with a kunai against a kenjutsu user. Your taijutsu is your family style, but it is built around reacting to your opponent. I'm not an Uchiha by blood and only someone who trains against another Uchiha can use that style properly, since your eyes tell you how to react defensively but you don't have the knowledge on how to use it offensively. That's not my opinion. That is a fact I was told by my teammate who gave me this eye. You have taken your family style about as far as you can go with it. Until you pick up another style that will complement your skills, then I can't see your taijutsu improving much more than refining it." Sasuke nods and said, "I understand." Hinata and I have actually both been working on a style that will incorporate both our styles, but it's not anywhere close to being called an actual style yet. Kakashi nods and said, "Now, if I thought this was just the regular Chunin Exa, is something wrong, Naruto?" As he looked at Naruto, who had turned his head to look away from Kakashi and the rest of his team. Naruto said, "Shizune's coming this way and there's no one else in the area, so she's got to be coming for one of us." As he turned back to look at Kakashi. Kakashi said, "I see. Anyways, back to what I was saying, if this was just the exams I would say all 3 of you are overqualified for the exams. Since we know there is supposed to be more, I can say I feel sorry for anyone who underestimates you, and I believe that you have learned all you can before the exams. All we can do now is rest and prepare our supplies and mentally. Ah Shizune, Naruto said he detected you, can we help you with something? Shizune bit her lip and held her hands in front of her stomach and Naruto said if it's something about the baby or us my teammates already know so you can speak freely. Shizune took a deep breath and said I came to ask if you wanted to come with me for my checkup today. Tsunade-sama is going to do an ultrasound on the baby so we can see it and I thought you might like to come. Naruto eyes widened and said what's an ultrasound? Sakura said it's a machine that lets you see the baby inside its mother so they can check to make sure he or she is healthy and if they are far enough along then you can even find out if it's a boy or girl. How far along are you Shizune? Shizune said I'm starting my second trimester. Naruto scrunched his nose looking confused and Sakura slapped her head and said Naruto, you really need to read up on pregnancy and baby development if you're going to be in your child's life. Naruto said I tried to Sakura, but there were so many words and medical terms that I didn't understand and I got completely confused on what they were. I mean I thought a woman was delivering a baby but I read about delivering a placenta or something like that, whatever the hell that is. Then there was something about boiling water until it broke and I just got so confused. I wanted to do things right and be a good father but I also want to protect Shizune and our child. I mean Iwa already came after me once and then we know about someone planning to try and steal one of Konoha bloodlines and if they found out about Shizune and the baby then they could try to kidnap her and, I just don't know what to do. As he rubbed his temples. Everyone seemed to relax hearing Naruto words and Shizune said Naruto, are you really that worried about me and the baby? Naruto said yes, Shizune, I know things are tough between us. Things are tough between me and Ino as well. I hate the way they are playing out but, I just don't think I could take being hurt again. I'm scared. It's ironic, most people are scared of death, but I'm fine with death, I'm scared of life. Shizune bit her lip a moment and took a deep breath and said Kakashi, are you done with your team training for the day? Kakashi said besides giving them these, we're done for the week. As he held up 3 pieces of paper which he gave to each of his students. Shizune said good. Sakura, would you be a dear and go find Ino and bring her to the hospital, 3rd floor? Sakura saw the determined look on Shizune's face and nods before running off. Naruto said what are you doing? Shizune walked over and grabbed his arm and said I'm not hiding anymore. You want proof you can trust Ino and me well you're going to get it. I've come to terms that I'll have to share you with Ino and we're going to be a family someday so we are going to look at our future son or daughter together and we are going to get pictures of the baby and show them to everyone in the village. Now come on or do I have to use my medical skills to force you to come or have Ino take over your body and force you to come? Either way you're coming just like any other father and that's final, Naruto said but. Shizune shot him a glare and he quickly shut up and thought she's scarier than my mother. 20 minutes later Naruto and Shizune were sitting in the waiting area on the 3rd floor when Ino and Sakura arrived and Ino asked what's going on. Forehead said there was an emergency and that I was needed at the hospital. As she looked at Naruto and Shizune. Shizune said Ino, you love Naruto right? Ino glanced around and Shizune said no Ino, can you admit it in public that you love him? Yes or no? Ino said yes, I love him, what's going on? Shizune said I've done come to terms that I know I have to share him and that you will be in his life so I'm going to prove once and for all that he can trust you and me. We are here today for my checkup and to have an ultrasound of the baby. Being a member of his family you have the right to be here, and where do you think you're going Sakura? You're friends with Naruto and Ino and Naruto trust you so if he needs someone he can talk to it will most likely be you so both you sit your skinny asses down and wait with us. Sakura said mood swings much. Causing Shizune to glare at her and Sakura flinched and said she's scarier than your mom Naruto. Naruto opened his mouth and quickly shut it when he saw Shizune glare at him. After she turned away he quickly nods his head and Shizune said I saw that. Naruto flinched and thought fuck. When the 4 of them went into the hospital room a nurse said the doctor will be here shortly. Naruto blinked and said I thought Tsunade was going to do this. Shizune said she is. The nurse was just telling us that so we won't mind having to wait. It's part of bedside manners that we are taught about. A few minutes passed by and Shizune had went into the bathroom with a hospital gown and came out and got up on the bed and covered herself with a blanket and Naruto looked confused and Shizune said Tsunade has to check me down there and also has to have skin contact for the ultrasound. Naruto nods and there was a knock on the door and the door opened and a brown-haired woman came walking into the room backwards pulling a machine and said sorry to enter Yooped. I needed to move the ultrasound machine in. As she pulled it on the other side of the bed and looked at the people in the room and said is everyone doing okay today? Shizune said yes we are doing fine Shishi. Shishi smiled and looked at Shizune before her eyes landed on Naruto and frowned and said excuse me Shizune-sama, but what is he doing here? Naruto thought why does she look familiar? Oh, wait, I know. As he bowed, shocking everyone, and said, "I am sorry about what happened that day. You were not the one I targeted with that prank. The nurse's schedule had the woman I was targeting was scheduled to work that day and the prank was for her. I would have told you I was sorry sooner, but you kind of demanded that I don't come anywhere within 100 feet of you, so I couldn't say sorry." Shishi frowned and Shizune said, "What prank?" Naruto rubbed his head and said, "It was right after I had been tortured and poisoned by a woman claiming to be my mother. I had to spend some time in the hospital to recover from being electrocuted so many times, and this one nurse discovered that I sort of got scared of needles because of what happened while I was being tortured, and she took every chance she could to come and draw blood, start and give me a shot, everything she could. I had my 4 changed 36 times in 2 days. Both my wrist, my arms, my feet, legs, stomach, back. She took great pleasure out of sticking me with needles, and so when I was released I snuck around and looked at the nurse's schedule and planned to pay her back. I didn't know she had traded schedules with this woman here, and she unfortunately walked into my trap." Sakura asked, "What did you do, Naruto?" Shishi said he put dog shit over every wheelchair in the hospital, put the hospital entire supply of laundry detergent in the 3 washing machines we used to clean the bed sheets, causing them to overflow, and he mixed up all the boxes of medicine in the medicine cabinet, putting one bottle in different box. Luckily each bottle had its real name on them and was easy to fix before someone got hurt on accident. Unfortunately it took the entire weekend to clean up the mess, and I was scheduled to work all 3 days double shifts since Iron was sick those 3 days and couldn't come in. It was a nightmare." Naruto said, "So is what that woman did to me, and I said I'm sorry and I have stayed out of your way all these years. What more do you want?" Shishi frowned and said, "What exactly are you here for?" Naruto frowned and Shizune said he's here for the same reason Sakura and Ino are here. "They're here to see the ultrasound of the child I am carrying." Shishi sighed and said, "In that case I guess I can go ahead and do that part and get it out of the way until Tsunade-sama gets here." As she moved around and plugged in the machine and turned it on, and a low hum was heard. Shishi then grabbed a sheet and covered Shizune up and giving her some privacy while pulling the hospital gown up enough to show Shizune belly. Shishi asked, "How far along are you?" as she grabbed a tube of gel. Shizune said, "I'm starting the 2nd trimester, BRR, that's cold." Shishi said, "Yeah, sorry about that, but it makes seeing the ultrasound so much easier." As she moved a device in her hand against Shizune's belly, looking around, and she stopped moving it as the room heard a quick pulsing sound, and Shishi said, "The baby's got a good heartbeat." There you are." As she touched the machine, flipping some switches and turning some knobs as the screen zoomed in on a section. Everyone was looking at the screen, and Naruto said weakly, "It's so small." In an odd voice. Shishi glanced at him and said, "Yes, about 4 inches, and I say about 2.5 to 3 oz in weight." Shishi watched as Naruto came around the bed slowly and looked at the screen and then at Shizune's stomach and then back at the screen as the sound of the baby heart was still being heard in the room. Shizune smiled softly at Naruto and took Naruto's hand. Shishi thought, not that was unexpected, and said, "Would you like a picture of your child?" As she looked at Naruto. Naruto didn't catch it as fast as the others in the room did, and he said, "You can take pictures of him." Shishi said, "Yes I can, but it's not a him or a her yet. Gender isn't determined for some time." "So would you like a picture of your child, Naruto?" Naruto's eyes widened as he caught it that time, and Shizune said yes he would. Shishi nods and pressed a couple of buttons, and after a few moments 2 copies of the ultrasound slid out of the machine, and Shishi pulled the ultrasound away and began to clean it as she handed a picture to Shizune and Naruto. After that she cleaned the gel off Shizune. Shishi said as she started to move the machine toward the door, "Well, I'll leave you to wait for the doctor, and good luck. Oh, and Naruto, if you want to earn my forgiveness, then you have to come to the hospital after the Chunin exams are over, and you are to help changing the diapers of all the infants here for an entire month every chance you get. It will not only be my punishment against you but also give you a chance to practice for your own diaper duty. If you don't come, then it shows you're not really sorry. Good luck." As she left, Naruto paled and said, "Oh man." As he looked down at the picture in his hand and said in a shocked and scared voice, "I'm going to be a father." Sakura said, "You already knew that, Naruto." Naruto said, "I know, it's just, until just now it didn't seem real, didn't dawn on me completely." As he looked at Shizune's stomach and he lowered his head down and whispered, "Hi, I'm your daddy." Shizune smiled, as did Sakura and Ino, and a flash went through the room, catching everyone's attention as they saw Tsunade with a camera, and she said, "So I hear they already did the ultrasound. Oh, it's so cute." As she looked at the picture, Tsunade said, "I see it's finally dawning on you, huh, brat? This little one will depend on both you and Shizune. It's a big responsibility." Naruto stood up straight and said, "I won't let him down." Tsunade said, "So you think it's a boy?" Naruto said, I guess. I don't like calling him and I feel like he's a boy." Tsunade nods and said, "Well, let's see how he is doing." as she pulled on some gloves. Naruto stayed by Shizune's side as Tsunade examined her, and Tsunade said, well, everything appears to be exactly as it should be. You and the baby are both doing great, Shizune. Shizune nods, and Naruto bit his lip and looked at Shizune's stomach, and she said, it's amazing, isn't it? A natural miracle. Naruto said, yeah, I'm sorry everyone. As he closed his eyes and said, I've been a jerk to you, Tsunade, and, well, you did deserve some of what I did to you, but I went too far. Shizune, I'm also sorry for the way I've been acting, saying I didn't trust you. I just. Shizune squeezed his hand as Ino wrapped her arms around him, and Ino said, just shut up, master, we know and we understand, right, Shizune? Shizune nods, and Naruto let a tear fall and said thanks. Tsunade asked, so does that mean I can have a hug finally? Naruto said, is Jiraiya a pervert? With a small smile. Tsunade pulled Naruto in a hug, and he flinched at first, but then after a few moments he started to wave his arms around, and Sakura said, Tsunade-sama, I think he needs air. Tsunade quickly let go, and Naruto gasped for breath and said, I swear I saw my mother. Everyone in the room laughed, and Naruto looked at Shizune and said, wait, you know about that? Tsunade said, Shizune met my mom, who explained about what's going on. Naruto said, oh. As he looked sheepish. Shizune glared at him and said, that's something I didn't like finding out from someone else instead of you, Naruto. Why didn't you tell me? Naruto rubbed his head and said, well, when I first found out I was told not to tell anyone. I asked Mom why her and the others revealed themselves like that, and she told me something was going on that they couldn't tell me about and that they weren't allowed to directly get involved in it. They could use us to deal with it, but they themselves couldn't. She wouldn't tell me what it is though. Tsunade said, well, I need to get back to my office. Why don't you all go and relax and spend time together? Naruto said, sounds good. Sakura said, well, I need to get home. I'll see you at the exams, if not sooner, Naruto. As she quickly left. Shizune said, well, let me get changed and we could go get something to eat. I'm starved. As she went in the bathroom, Ino said, you okay? Naruto said, I'm scared out of my mind. I don't know what to do as a father. Ino said, well, how about talking with my dad Kuza and Shikaku? I'm sure they would be glad to tell you what they can. Naruto thought a moment and said, sure, I'd like that. Shizune came out of the bathroom dressed and said, ready. Naruto said, yeah, come on. Grabbing both Ino and Shizune's arm.
That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.